On OpenAI, what's the latest thinking in terms of monetization, in terms of either certain experiments or certain things that you could see yourself spending more time or less time on, different models that you're excited about? Or...
The thing that's top of mind for me, like right now, just because it just launched and there's so much usage, is what we're going to do for Sora.
Yeah.
Another thing you learn once you launch one of these things is how people use them versus how you think they're going to use them.
Yeah.
And people are certainly using Sora the ways we thought they were going to use it, but they're also using it in these ways that are very different. Like people are generating funny memes of them and their friends and sending them in a group chat. And that will require a very different, like Sora videos are expensive to make.
Yeah.
Right. So that will require a very different, for people that are doing that like hundreds of times a day, it's going to require a very different monetization method and the kinds of things we were thinking about. I think it's very cool that the thesis of Sora, which is people actually want to create a lot of content, it's not that, the traditional naive thing that it's like 1% of users create content, 10% leave comments, and 100% view. Maybe a lot more want to create content, but it's just been harder to do. And I think that's a very cool change, but it does mean that we got to figure out a very different monetization model for this than we were thinking about if people want to create that much. I assume it's like some version of you have to charge people per generation when it's this expensive. But that's like a new thing we haven't had to really think about before.
What's your thinking on ads for the long tail?
Open to it. Like many other people, I find ads somewhat distasteful, but not a non-starter. And there's some ads that I like. Like one thing I'd give Meta a lot of credit for is Instagram ads are like a net value add to me. I like Instagram ads. And I've never felt that. Like, on Google, I feel like I know what I'm looking for. The first result is probably better. The ad is an annoyance to me. On Instagram, it's like, I didn't know I want this thing. It's very cool. I'd never heard of it. I never would have thought to search for it. I want the thing. So that's like, there's kinds of things like that, but people have a very high trust relationship with ChatGPT, even if it screws up, even if it hallucinates, even if it gets it wrong. People feel like it is trying to help them and that it's trying to do the right thing. And if we broke that trust, it's like you say, what coffee machine should I buy? And we recommended one and it was not the best thing we could do, but the one we were getting paid for, that trust would vanish. So like that kind of ad does not work. There are others that I imagine that could work totally fine. But that would require like a lot of care to avoid the obvious traps.
Yeah. And then how big a problem, just you extending the Google example is like, fake content that then gets slurped in by the model, and then they recommend the wrong coffee maker because somebody just blasted 1,000 great reviews of the coffee maker.
So there's all of these things that have changed very quickly for us.
Yeah.
This is one of those examples that people are doing these crazy things to maybe not even fake reviews, but just paying a bunch of like human, really trying to figure out.
Or using ChatGPT to write some good ones. Write me a review that ChatGPT would love.
Yeah. So this is
coffee maker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a very sudden shift that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
We never used to hear about this like 6 months ago, or 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Certainly. And now there's like a real cottage industry that feels like it's sprouted up overnight.
Yeah.
Trying to do this.
Yeah. No, they're very clever out there.
Yeah. So I don't know how we're going to fight it yet, but people figure this out.
So that gets into a little bit of this other thing that we've been worried about. And, we're trying to kind of figure out blockchain sort of potential solutions to it and so forth. But there's this problem where like the incentive to create content on the internet used to be, people would come and see my content and they'd read, like, if I write a blog, people will read it and so forth. With ChatGPT, if I'm just asking ChatGPT and I'm not like going around the internet, who's going to create the content and why? And is there an incentive theory or something that you have to kind of not break the covenant of the internet, which is like I create something and then I'm rewarded for it with like either attention or money or something?
The theory is much more of that will happen. if we make content creation easier and don't break the like kind of fundamental way that you can get some kind of reward for doing so. So for the dumbest example of Sora, since we've been talking about that, it's much easier to create a funny video than it's ever been before. Maybe at some point you'll get a rev share for doing so. For now, you get like internet likes, which are still very motivating to some people. But people are creating tons more than they ever created before in in any other kind of like video app. So,
but is that the end of text?
I don't think so. Like people are also
or human generated text.
Human generated will turn out to be like you have to verify like what percent. So like fully handcrafted. Was it like tool aided?
I see. Probably nothing not tool aided.